Guys, I ain't got nothing going on tonight, so I'm like, you know what? Let me exercise my rights and let me make sure that we providing content and we adding on to what we already started. Guys, real quick, this isn't part of what I'm doing, but check this out here. Let me switch this camera up. Guys, I'm at the office and I'm just going through some mail here. Guys, real quick, we just got approved for a Home Depot Pro card. And guys, real quick, I never went over this, but my understanding and how we do business with credit cards is, like I said, guys, we always pay everything off. But I'm just going over some things. I literally just opened this up 5 seconds before I started this live. So the APR is only 21.99%, which is decent. No annual fee, which is great. Minimum finance is 1%. Guys, I'm just going over some fine language here. And of course, they're going to advertise the features and benefits, but not the downside. Congratulations, you're invited to apply for a Home Depot commercial credit card. Now, guys, another thing, if you didn't notice, I've been looking to a lot of South American real estate. Now, guys, like I said, like I'm getting into a lot of flexibility, probably within like the next, what, 3 to 5 years. Like I said, guys, a lot of shit is going to fall off and it's going to open up, like I said, a lot of opportunities for me. I'm talking like personally. I mean, also business wise as well, but a lot of opportunities are going to open up in the future. But one thing I've been looking into was, I mean, guys, like I said, what I do, and like I said, for you guys that don't already know this, I mean, one of the perks and the features of, well, one of the benefits and the perks of doing HVAC is that, you're going to bleed into a lot of other professions. And I mean, guys, I've seen a bunch of pros and cons of, first time, real estate. I'm talking like first time homeowners as far as like a lot of situations that worked out and a lot of situations that didn't work out. And guys, like I said, there's a bunch of things that, like I said, I know what to do and what not to do just based off me being around it. And I say that to say this, like, I don't know. I feel like, if I buy like a rental property in the US, it can work out. And I also see me buying a rental property in South America and it working out. So like it's not really, I don't have a burning desire to do either or first. I feel like it can work out. But guys, I never been to South America, and I put this up on the post a few months ago. In regards to what I should do. I know I'm definitely gonna go to South America at some point this summer. But like I said, guys, like, like I said, everybody go to South America for like different reasons. But like I'm going out there, like I need to understand the culture, I need to understand the economy. But like I'm damn sure, based on guys, like me personally, I'm telling you right now, I missed the boat that happened in Miami. But like I said, guys, I'm not missing what the fuck is going on in South America. Like the real estate right now, what's going on out there, guys, like it's a lot going on. So like, even if you can't afford it, just make sure you understand what's going on out there, because, the cycle always repeats itself. So like, like I said, guys, I say that to say this, like, like, I mean, I know the American dollar, what's going on in the US. A dollar in the US is like probably, what is, I don't know the trend. Like I'm still learning. I mean, besides the language, I'm just still understanding. Like, I mean, a dollar in the US is like probably 30 pesos or whatever the case is in South American. But like, guys, like I said, understanding, the real estate and like I said, the economy is certainly going to help you out, because my goal is, like I said, if I can get at least one or two, either or, like if I can get one in the US and one in South America, or two of either or, like I said, that's a win-win scenario. But guys, based on, like I said, my current goals, I feel as though, the real estate portfolio blends into what I'm already doing. So like I'm not taking a financial gamble and like doing something different than what I'm already accustomed to doing. You get what I'm saying? So, but like I said, guys, for you guys that's just getting in, this just came in the mail. guys, like I said, before I get into the study of what we're about to go over tonight, like I said, guys, I've been to Home Depot like 1,000,000,001 times. I'm pretty sure they either seen, what we bought, or they probably seen my videos, and they're just trying to they're trying to get us to spend more. But like I said, guys, having a commercial card is great, depending on what you do. Like I said, if you're a GC, or like say you do carpentry work, if you buy a lot of materials from Home Depot, this is great. But I'm just going over some features and benefits here. And once again, the interest rate is only 21%, which is great. I'm used to seeing 28 and 29%, but 21% is all right. It's not great, but I'm just scrolling through what they sent me here. We haven't agreed or disagreed to do whatever. I'm just reading over what we see here. But it says benefits, new accounts, Pro Extra membership. All right. And it's two different ways you can do this: Pro Extra or a commercial account. Receive 2% early pay discount. All right, that's a given. Like I said, if you guys pay off your credit cards, 30th, not necessarily the first, but if you pay off your credit cards early, this is really not really a non-factor. Choice on when to pay invoices. This is for a mega, contractor. If you're doing fucking millions and tens of millions every month, this may be beneficial. But like I said, guys, we're pay on delivery, and everything gets paid, upon completion. So I don't know about that. Convenience, account management. This is something that we have to look into. 1 year hassle-free returns. Once again, I don't know. Like I said, guys, we're primarily residential. Exclusive coupon offers. Flexible monthly payments. Nah, we pay every month. Guys, like I said, that's one thing I'll tell you guys now. I don't like owing people money. So like I said, I'll say that to say this. If you owe people money, make sure you pay them off, like I said, within the same month. So what that means, based on this particular feature that is highlighted here, flexible monthly payments. You guys see this here? This is what I was alluding to a few days ago when I said credit card companies. This is a legal finesse. If you only pay the minimum requirement every month, let's say if you spend $1,000 a month and the interest is 21%. If you pay the minimum amount covers the interest, but it doesn't cover the principal. The principal is the actual amount that you have to pay. But this is how the credit card companies actually make money. So if you get caught up in the flexible monthly payments, saying, yeah, all right, tell you what, my interest is 0% this month, and it's only 1% next month, and in 6 months, that's when it starts. Guys, like I said, make sure you don't owe anybody anything. Based on what you borrow, make sure your stupid ass can pay it off, because I've seen this 1,000,001 times, and luckily we never been in a scenario, because I was always aware. And like I said, guys, I know I try to learn from other people's situations. I don't always rely on just, my own personal perspective. Make sure you guys can pay off your monthly, expenditures, and you won't be you won't be at the mercy of 20+% interest. We're not talking about a house. This is just a credit card. This shit is like I said, a lot of people won't admit this, but that 20% plus, and I usually say 28, 29%. I don't think 30% is the norm, but usually high 20s. This is what kills a lot of people with credit card debt. But like I said, guys, if you're in it, if you're not in it, you probably know someone that is on the wrong end of, credit card debt. And like I said, guys, it's not really there's no positive ending with having credit card debt. Pay your shit off before you get into debt. But before you even use the credit card, make sure you guys, understand your monthly, income, be aware of what you can afford. But most importantly, like say, emergencies do happen, but, emergencies doesn't happen every day. But, every day you should know what not to if you want to go stupid and splurge on some stupid shit with, credit cards, then so be it. But guys, like I said, the credit card companies, I'm not, shout out to Home Depot. We go to them every day. They're not going to blackmail our account after seeing this video. But like I said, guys, credit card companies in general, like I said, they're based on giving you fancy 30-day and 90-day offers. But like I said, guys, if you don't read the fine print, and most importantly, if you don't have financial literacy with understanding your own personal income, your own personal, expenses monthly, you're going to fall victim to seeing something flashy on a piece of paper. And now, if you spend that $1,000, like I said, guys, like that 21% of whatever you spend, like if you can't afford that 1,000, it usually comes back to bite you in the ass. So, like I said, guys, just be smart with your expenses, and make sure you use credit cards to your advantage. You don't use credit cards like cash, because, like I said, guys, cash is something you don't have to pay back if you're spending out of pocket. But credit cards, if, like I said, you don't have it to pay back, it's going to come back and kick you in the ball sack. But moving on, add authorized user cards. This is like, I've seen this before with TD Bank. Guys, that's our personal bank, TD Bank. I've seen that before if you had an authorized user. That's if you're using gas cards, or if you had another point of contact. That's great. I've seen that before. Buyer ID cards, and of course, dedicated account management. This is like some upper echelon things. And as you see, this is only with the commercial account. We don't do commercial. I mean, we do commercial, but it's not really that, like I said, we may do a commercial maintenance here and there, but like I said, you guys know our bread and butter is usually residential. So I'm pretty sure if you were to go with this card, it's going to be a pro extra. It's going to be like the non-commercial account. Non-commercial pretty much means that we're not handling tens of millions of dollars a month in supplies or XYZ. So that's going to be what it is there. But guys, real quick, I just wanted to go into that real quick, guys. Like, I'm just going over some mail for you guys that's just getting in here. It's time to get this party started, or not this party, this lecture started. Real quick, I got more notes. And like I said, guys, I'll go over this when I can. If I ain't got time, I'll get to this when I can. But guys, we got a lot of literature to go over. This is part 3 of $680,000 worth of notes. And I can't see the chat. Hold on, guys. Let me see. Let me make sure everything is good here. Hold up. All right. Volume is up. My Wi-Fi is good. Because, guys, the reason I'm telling y'all this is once I start rambling off, that's when, like I said, I can go an hour without seeing anything. I just want to make sure that we're good here. All right, we're good. All right, guys. So where everybody going to first? I'm trying to get the flashcards squared away and knocked out the window first. The first question I got here, I didn't bring my whole flashcards. I just literally just kind of skimmed through what most of the flashcards that I already talked about. But it says here, could I run common from compressor to seat on capacitor? And instead of using this diagram here, I'm going to write this on the board. I'm going to draw a diagram of a typical capacitor diagram on the board here. Let's see here. I got to get new markers too, guys, because the markers I got, I'm pretty sure most of these are dried up, but bear with me here. I'm just going to work with what I got. H, C, F, and let's say here. And like I said, guys, bear with me here. What I'm going to do is I am going to make our cap and make our contactor here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the load and line side. And I'm going to try to do this in different colors here, so it will be easier for illustration purposes. See if this marker is good. T1, T2. All right. Most of you guys should know how to wire up. I mean, like I said, I don't know your experience level. Like I said, that's for you to discern and hopefully for you to get better at. But at this point, you know, depends on how long you've been in the trade. I'm not even going to say how long you've been in the trade because, like I said, I'm not the only guy that came out of trade school with basic like wire knowledge, but it's never a bad idea to understand the theory aspect of HVAC. I said this a million and one times in all my videos. You can explain how to, I mean, you can tell a customer it'll be $100, $200. I mean, I don't know your cost of goods sold, but you could tell the customers, hey, it's X amount of dollars to replace a cat, or it's X amount of dollars to replace a contactor. That is easy, but if you don't understand the basic functions of that said part, and then now, like I said, forget the customer now, if you don't understand parts and also how to troubleshoot them, you know, how parts are supposed to work and also how things are wired together. If you don't understand this, I mean, it's easy to like tell a customer that something needs to get replaced, but if you can't confidently say that, hey, XYZ needs to get replaced, here's what this part is supposed to do, here's what it's not doing, and here's why I recommend replacing it. If you don't have that basic understanding, then like I said, guys, if you want to go out of business, get sued or whatever the case is, that's on you. That is not on like any, like I don't understand the ideology behind, you know, not knowing what the fuck you're doing and starting a business. That doesn't make any sense, you know? Like we're not in the business of scamming customers. Like if you guys are on that scamming shit, you know, you go on Instagram or Facebook, there's probably someone selling like a course that, like I said, tells you exactly how to get to 1 million. And eventually you're going to end up, like I said, getting sued. Like, I'm not with that bullshit, guys. Like, I teach y'all the black and white. This is not popular. This may get, like I said, a smaller amount of views or whatever the fuck is, guys. Like, I'm telling y'all right now, guys, the point of what I'm telling y'all now, it may not be for most of you guys. It may be for some of you guys, but someone from like 20 years from now is going to look at this and they're going to, like I said, they'll put together, like I said, the data points and they'll understand. So like, understand that, like I said, the people that do get it, everybody knows something, but the people that takes that infinite amount of experience and takes it to the next level, that will always be in a smaller amount of people. So guys, like I said, the same amount of information that was given to me, I'm giving to you guys, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to get to the next level. That always, you know, that always depends on a certain individual, you know, like, and I can't tell you, like I said, how you know, what you need to do to get to that next level. Information is only information, guys. So I always tell y'all this. The shit I'm telling y'all, this is nothing more than just like Google related info, but this is no guarantee that you want to get to the next level. It takes hours of practicality for you guys to understand this. But with that being said, let's get back to the black and white here, guys. And I'm trying to use different colors here so it'll be easier for illustration. I'm just going to hook up this contactor and hook up this capacitor. And this will be easier to do with components because, and guys, like I said, I want to make this simple. Let's see here. Let's see, Herm. Let's use run, and let's use common. I'm going to use different colors here because I want to make sure that this illustration is a little bit more detailed. I could just put random components on this board here, guys, but like I said, my only problem is if I try to put random components here and it's all the same color, I don't think y'all will resonate with the wiring of how to hook this up. And real quick, the question is, and like I said, guys, I wrote this down like probably 10 years ago, if not longer than that. Could I run common from compressor to C on capacitor? Once again, this is alluding to how to hook up the capacitor. And I'm going to explain this in a second, but I got to put everything on here. Let's see here. ODF. Boom, boom. let's see here. Start. Actually, I put Herm on the compressor. That should be start. Guys, my fault. That margarita, that margarita is talking to me, guys. Hold on. Hold up. That orange margarita, man, is already starting to talk. Hold on, guys. I'm coming back to my senses here. Hold up. Hold up. All right. Start, run, common. And guys, like I said, we haven't done the AC maintenance and nothing like that yet. So like I'm trying to right now I'm in the process of decommissioning my brain to get all the heat and shit and getting into AC stuff. The things I'm telling y'all, if you don't already have that experience of, like I said, once you become, dialed into heating season, you really forget about the AC shit until you get in the predicament that you have to think about this AC stuff. What I'm telling y'all is different because, like I said, guys, I'm explaining this without actually being around the equipment as of yet. I know within the next 2 or 3 weeks, everything I'm telling y'all, I'm going to actually show you guys the actual parts and, the physicality of it. But like I said, guys, this shit doesn't end, you got to have some type of love for learning HVAC because, like I said, you know, you wait until, like I said, you be around it. Sometimes it's going to be too late. Like I said, I don't know how you guys, how your ideology is wired, but if you wait until you see parts and components, if you don't have an understanding of what that part is or how it connects to other related parts in that system, then like I said, guys, you're always going to be behind the 8 ball. So always challenge yourself. The same shit I did. I told you guys this. And like I said, guys, I'm just ranting. But back when I was, this is back before I even got hired. The notes and the shit I had, guys. So I'm telling y'all, like everything I had, like all I had was notes. And like I eventually, guys, like I learned how to quiz myself. And like quizzing myself, it got to a point where like I'm like, you know what? Okay, like how's a capacitor wired? What does a capacitor do? If it doesn't work, what are the symptoms of a bad capacitor? Gosh, it got to a point where, like I said, I'm telling y'all, like, quizzing yourselves, like you will always be your own worst enemy. And I say that to say this, you have to really take the initiative, like I said, be your own worst enemy. And it sounds crazy, but like I said, guys, like no one's going to push you harder than how you push yourself. And like this is the only way you can learn this shit. Because like I said, I don't really know another way of learning this. Even if you guys had a dad that had a 20, I'm just saying hypothetically, if you had a dad that had a $20 billion HVAC company, there's no guarantee you'll have the interest to learn this unless, you really took, you have to learn the rigors. You got to learn like I said, you got to fall in love with the grind of HVAC. And like I said, this is not going to be beneficial to you. It's going the same shit I'm telling y'all right now. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of late nights, early mornings. And like I said, guys, if you don't love it, it's just, the opportunity is going to go right past you and it's going to go to someone else that took that initiative. And like I said, they fell in love with the opportunity. But like, it's not really, I mean, the shit I'm telling y'all is black and white, but maybe it's not black and white if you're not really cut from that cloth. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, the shit I'm telling y'all, I can talk this shit 24/7, but I got other obligations. Like I said, guys, like I got to do this for a living. So like, I'm not really just a black and white, teacher type of guy. Like I actually gotta, I gotta go to customers' houses and fix this as well. So like, I mean, like I said, guys, I'm not putting any shade on anyone. If you can teach it, cool. But like I said, guys, if you can teach it and you have some type of if you got some type of practicality with understanding HVAC as well, I mean, like I said, guys, that's the best of both worlds, understanding this from a technical standpoint and simplifying it. And also, having, like I said, the practicality with understanding, hey, like common is this, run is this, start is this. Like, this is all basic shit. You get what I'm saying? But guys, let me get back to hooking this up here. Like I said, guys, this is all ABCs here. I'm just going to hook this up here. Let's see here. ODF compressor. I'm trying to use different colors here. But let me see how this looks. Guys, I want to use different colors, but let me see here. Right. ODF. Let's see here. Got the star hooked up. Both starts are hooked up. I got my run on T1. Let's see here. Hold on, guys. Hold up. Hold up. I don't know why I put this on T1 instead of the actual terminal on T1. All right. This is good. Common should be on T2. I want to use, guys, I'm trying to use different colors here. Bear with me. I'm going to explain what I'm doing in a second. But I want to use different colors just so it'll be easier for me to break down the illustration. If that makes sense. Common, boom, 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 boom. All right, and I use breaking points between each color. So, like I said, guys, if you've been around this, if you already know this, then I don't think there's any point in watching the video besides maybe becoming a refresher. But if you don't know this, if you be around it long enough, I think everything will click in the future if you come back to this video. But what you see here, this is my compressor, this is my outdoor fan motor, this is my capacitor, this is my contactor. Everything is wired up. Now, once again, now that I have everything on the board and it's blown up, I didn't want to use this image. I want to use a more broader image, which is what I drew on the board. The question is, could I run common from compressor to C on the capacitor? Now, guys, once again, if you guys are not familiar with my channel, like I wrote down a bunch of shit on flashcards from like 10 years ago. I used to do maintenances, and like I said, guys, like I was a maintenance tech for about maybe like a year or two, but I already had theory, guys. Like I graduated, I got out of high school, I got out of trade school. I'm talking HVAC trade school. I got out with a theory knowledge of how things work, but I didn't have that understanding of how things, I didn't have hands-on experience because, guys, I told y'all, my hand, like we didn't have equipment at the lab. So I knew more theory than I knew hands-on. So like, what I mean by that, guys, is like I said, like, I can tell you, like, if you were to go back in time and like, I'm saying like when I was I started trade school and I was like, 18, turning 19. I got out when that was only 16 months or 14 months. I got out when I was, when was this? I know I was before I was 21. I got out when I was like 19, turning 20. So like my birthday is in August. So like I got out probably when I was turning 19 before 20. So like, guys, I was 19 getting out of trade school. I knew if you were to ask me how a contactor or a capacitor works, I can tell you theory-wise how it works, but I never could explain how to diagnose it. If you were to tell me, like I'm saying, if you were like an employer back in like I got out of trade school, 2012? If you were to ask me around that time, like what a capacitor is, what a contactor is, like what a fucking gas valve is, I can tell you all this, but I never could explain how to troubleshoot it because I never seen it like in person. So like, guys, like I said, I try my best to learn as much as I can from my said, experiences in school. And like I said, guys, like, I feel like I was very confident with what I seen in trade school as far as, like I said, what things are, how to fix them. But guys, like I said, that real life practicality comes into play once you get past a certain level. And like I said, guys, like I want y'all to, and I'm telling y'all this from experience, like you want to have both ends of the spectrum covered. You want to have, like I said, the base level understanding theory-wise, but you need to understand like how to fix it as well. You don't want to be a theory rat, or like, nor do you want to be, that person that says, hey, hey, tell you what, I know how to do gas valves. And if your employer or whoever you're doing the interview with, if you say, I know how to do gas valves, as long as you can tell me what the green wire hooks up to, I can always do a gas. Like, gosh, if you tell an employer that you can do a gas valve, but you don't know how to hook up the wires. I mean, that's gonna, like, they might not tell you this, but that's gonna raise a red flag in that employer's eyes. They may tell you like, yo, like, how the fuck can you know how to do a gas valve, but you don't know how to hook it up? That's part of actually doing the repair. You get what I'm saying? So like, guys, like I said, it's two sides to the story. You know, actually it's three: customer service, but we're not. This isn't a customer service live. You know, this is mainly, like I said, theory, understanding. Like I said, you know, how to hook shit up. But like I said, guys, based on the question that I got here, you know, as far as like with, you know, where the C wire goes, all this shit is based on where I was. Hold on, guys. All this is based on where I was 10 years ago. And like I said, guys, 10 years ago, I was just, like I said, figuring shit out. You know, I had a theory in my head of how things work, but once I seen it, if I had any discrepancies between, you know, how I thought things should hook up versus what I've seen, I will write them down on cards. And like I said, guys, you know, most of the answers I didn't get. I had to discern this for myself, but eventually I got 99% of damn near everything I wanted to know. It's not really, nowadays, it's not really, like I said, you know, a issue with figuring shit out. But like when I first started off, my biggest concern was, you know, I just wanted to make sure that I can, like, you know, all the information, you know, all the knowledge, like everything I learned in school, I wanted to make sure that I can, like, discern this. You know, I had to make sure that I can, like, actually put this knowledge from my head into my hands. I had to understand, like, hey, like, if I see a capacitor, if I see a contactor, if I see a motor, I need to make sure that, like I said, if, you know, whatever the case is, if it's working, if I'm on a maintenance, or if it's not working, if I'm out here, like I said, on a AC, on a no AC call or no heat call, whatever the case is, I need to know what the fuck things are so I can, like, figure out what's going on. I don't care about explaining things. At that point, I wasn't, like, in that with the customer service aspect of things, but I needed to make sure that, like I said, not only did I know what things are, I need to make sure I knew how to fix it. So, like, that's why I had a shitload full of flashcards, which is one of the few that I brought in tonight. And like I said, guys, now that we're getting into AC season, I know I didn't bring this up before, but like I said, guys, like all this shit, this is just, like I said, just, you know, notes that I wrote down, I accumulated over time. And like I said, this is, you know, what I eventually learned over time, but I just bring this into the GMC talks or the $680,000 worth of notes, because eventually, you know, you guys are going to run into the same problems I had. But let's get into how to hook up this contactor and capacitor here, guys. So here's what we got. Let's get back to business here. All right, so the question is, could I run common from my compressor? Could I run that to C on the capacitor? And guys, like I said, I made a bunch of videos of what a contactor is and what a capacitor is. I don't feel like I have to dumb things down that much, but assuming you guys know what the contactor and what the capacitor is, the question is, and once again, the C terminal from my compressor is going to my contactor. But the question is, can I run this C terminal on my capacitor? And the answer is, guys, I am going to be very objective with you guys right now, guys. What I showed you guys, this is a general, very generic, you know, diagram, but manufacturers can do whatever they want to do, because once again, that's their parts, that's their equipment. Me personally, and I want you guys to clip this. I want you guys to remember this, burn this shit in your head. The run from your compressor, once again, I'm going to slow this down. I know I talk fast, but I want you guys to remember what the fuck I'm telling y'all here. The common from your compressor and the common from your fan, from your outdoor fan motor, once again, this is a straight AC unit. The common from the outdoor fan motor and the common from your compressor, both should always lead to the same side of your contactor. If you don't know what the difference is, and once again, this is not the stream, I'm not breaking down diagrams. This is what you guys should already know. If you've been in trade school for HVAC, if you don't know what start run common is, if you can't distinguish what, the difference is between each and every leg of power, then like I said, guys, for one, you're going to probably blow up a motor and trip a breaker. And me personally, guys, it got to a point with this maintenance company, the first, HVAC job I had, I was replacing a bunch of capacitors. And like I say, it got to a point where this is before I knew how diagrams work. It got to a point where I'm like, you know what? Wires are wires. I don't really care. It got to a point where I started to get big headed with the wires, and I thought running common was the same shit. Remember in school, they taught us things, but it wasn't really how I'm explaining things to you guys. It wasn't that, generic. It was always hey, yeah, you don't really need to know the ins and outs. As long as you understand what a part is, everything else figures itself out, guys. That was the furthest thing from the truth. Once I got into that maintenance company, I knew how to check a capacitor for microfarads, but me not knowing how to wire things up, it got to a point where I was confusing run with common. I thought they both was the same thing. And guys, it got to a point where I accidentally killed a few compressors. This was back in 2013, 2014. And I got a call from, I said, the guy that went back out there on a recall. Of course, I was only a maintenance tech. When something breaks, they don't send me back out there. This is a bigger company. They send back, demand techs or whatever the case is. And like I said, the demand tech was telling me yo, you replaced a cat, but you're putting a fucking run terminal on the common, and you're doing vice versa. He was you have to make sure you put, you read the diagram. If you don't know the diagram, you got to call, you need to call someone and make sure you're hooking up these capacitors the right way. Because if you don't hook up, the designated wire from the motor to the right terminal, you're going to kill the motor. It's not going to work out. And that was, like I said, a rude awakening for me. And like I said, that wasn't a pleasant couple of months, me being in the manager's office, saying hey, yeah, we see you're doing a bunch of cats, but the wires aren't hooked up right. And guys, like I said, I came from, I told you guys a long time ago, like I said, everything I'm telling y'all is from hands-on, boots on the ground experience. But in regards to, like I said, the RNC, understand this, you got to understand the difference between start running common, either on your outdoor fan motor or on your compressor. Each one of these terminals needs to go in different destinations. You do not hook up two of these to the same exact terminal. Otherwise, you're going to have issues with one or the other. You're going to have issues with your outdoor fan motor or your compressor. But to answer the question on the flashcard, my question was, could you hook up common, or could you hook up the common on the compressor to C on your capacitor? The answer is, technically, you should hook up C from your compressor straight to the contactor. But I did see, and this is where I don't want to chip your heads out here, I did see some manufacturers hook up C from the compressor to the contactor, but C from the outdoor fan motor went straight to back to the contactor. Now, guys, here's where, like I said, depends on your comfortability with wiring diagrams. I don't have time to explain this particular aspect because I did have other shit I got to go over tonight. If you had, let's say hypothetically speaking, I want to make this kind of simple here. The C terminal from your compressor should go straight back to your contactor. But if you had your C terminal on your compressor go to the capacitor for some reason, then your C terminal on your fan motor should go back to the contactor. You shouldn't have both, and this is where shit gets kind of loopy here, but I'm going to explain this. Like I said, if you guys have the experience with this, you'll know what I'm talking about here. But either both runs and both commons should never go straight to the contactor. one of your two windings have to bridge through the capacitor, and then this is an additional wire. This is two different wires. Hypothetically speaking here, your run, I'm saying how I had this particular unit wired up. Your run from the compressor goes straight to the contactor. The run from the outdoor fan motor bridges through the C terminal and goes back to T1. You shouldn't like I said, if you have your run terminal from the compressor going to T1, you shouldn't have your run from your outdoor fan motor bridge to T1. You should bridge it from the C terminal and back to T1. But the common, however, both can go back here since I have the run from my outdoor fan motor bridge from the C terminal on my capacitor, since I had that bridge to T1. Never should you actually have both run and both commons bridge back to the contactor. That is why you need the C terminal, like I said, on the capacitor. This is tied into all those recalls I had back in when was this? 2013. Like I said, wiring diagrams are important, guys. Everything I'm telling y'all, like I said, if it's not landing home with the topic of what I'm trying to tell y'all, if it's not landing home, make sure you guys are looking at your wiring diagrams. Some contactors, some capacitors could have all colors the same exact way. Like if you have 3 brown wires from your contactor or 3 brown wires from your capacitor, you may have to replace this one wire at a time. You need to make sure that, like I said, you know how things are hooked up. If you just start guesstimating shit, and like I said, you just start assuming that, you know what, just because, like I said, the unit I was working on yesterday, just because it looks like that, I gotta assume that it's the same thing. No, guys. You need to have basic understanding of wire diagrams, and like I said, it's not wrong with asking for help if, like I said, you don't know where things are supposed to go. The last thing you should do is just assume shit, and once you hook things up, hoping that is right. If you put that breaker back in, if you flip that panel, flip the disconnect, put the handle in the disconnect, if you put that in and you see a spark, then like I said, guys, I can tell you right now, this is not going to be a good situation for you. I've been in that scenario personally, like I said, a long time ago, and I learned my lesson as far as with, like I said, hooking things up, wiring wise, like how to CYA, how to cover my ash. Make sure you guys are, like I said, even if it seems simple, make sure you guys are double checking and triple checking your work, because I'm telling y'all, like I said, you're not going to get a second chance at, like I said, doing things right the first time. If you don't do things right the first time, if you start guesstimating shit, now you're going to get to the point where, like I said, if that's on you, if you want to start, blindly guessing at how things are supposed to hook up, if you could kill that compressor, then like I said, you're going to be at the mercy of, that customer not having AC. And like I said, guys, like who wants to be in a scenario? And this is all simple shit. Like this isn't like something that, I don't think, I'm not a fan of making things more difficult than what it needs to be. But like I said, you guys have to take your time. Even if, you feel like you're being rushed, you got to take your time. You got to have, like I said, have some patience with yourself. Or like I said, making sure you're covering your ass. Because if you don't cover your ass, if you start killing compressors, I can tell you right now, things are definitely not going to go your way. And like I said, I'm saying for you guys that work for other companies, I don't know a boss is going to keep an employee on that's killing compressors every week, because this can get very costly and very time consuming if you have, like I said, someone out there that doesn't know how to hook up parts. And like I said, it's not wrong with, like I said, calling the manager, calling the boss saying, hey, here's how I think it should be hooked up. Can you double check this? Make sure it's right. Blase, blase. Make sure, like I said, you guys are covering your ass, because, you're not going to get too many chances, like I said, past a certain point if, you're not covering your ass. So make sure you guys are taking your time with this. I'm about to go to the next topic here. I'm trying to get out of here within 2 hours, so we got to move along here. I don't have all night to go over this here. All right. So Next question. We just figured out how to hook up the run and the common. Next question. Can you have a hot surface igniter boiler? How many ignitions are they? Guys, like I said, I kind of went over this, but and once again, like I said, guys, we're getting out of the heating season. We're getting into the AC season. But once again, let me draw this on the board. And let me see. Flow. Let's see. Let's see here. So this is the boiler. How many different type of ignitions are they? I'm gonna use a different color here. Hold on. Let's see here. How I want to, guys. I'm just trying to draft up how I want to draw this on the board here. And I'm pretty sure if you look at the earlier GMC talks, I'm pretty sure I went over this. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But I'm just going to put ignitions. Hold on, guys. I'm going to use, and like I said, once again, I'm going to use different colors because I think this will make it easier for illustration purposes. One is standard palette. And guys, one thing you'll realize as you get older, the more you know what you're doing, you don't really have to write in perfect perfect English. The easiest thing I can do is explain what I'm writing so you guys don't have to you don't have to uncover my writing here. I can easily explain every single thing that I'm about to put down here. HSI. Make sure I put the caps on these so I don't. And the fourth one can get kind of subjective here because it's like the fourth one and the second one kind of ties in. But like, should I put this on here or should I keep it to 3? I mean, it's kind of hot surface ignition, but like, I don't know. Should I keep it at hot surface ignition? I don't know how I want to do this here. I'm thinking I can do. Shit. Fuck it. I can probably do. I know these are the big 3, and I got 2 of the 3 already here that I can go over. I can do. I'm gonna keep it at 3 because like I said, the ignition is the biggest thing that we care about. I don't really care about, like I said, the distinguishing features of each ignition, but like the fact that like there's the big 3. I mean, there's no other 4, that we currently know of. There's only 3 that that separates themselves from like the rest of the group. All right, guys. Now, once again, let's get into the topic here. How many can you have an HSI boiler? That's one question. And the second question is how many ignitions are there. And this is in regards to a boiler that I probably seen like probably 10 years ago. But in regards to, I mean, this can relate to a boiler or furnace. It doesn't really matter. Any heating system, whether it be a furnace or a boiler, any gas heating system, you have your fan, you got your burners, you got your flue, and you got your gas valves. All right. All right, guys. So I'm using this as my pointer. As you see here, this is a boiler. I didn't write this down, but even if it's not self-explanatory, I'm going to put this on here. All right. So now we have everything on the board. I'm going to reiterate the question in a second. But this is the boiler, burners, gas valve, GV. This is my shutoff. Of course, this is the name of the system, which is a boiler, and this is the flue pipe. This is the exhaust. And you see here, this is the furnace. You have the fan motor, you have the burners, you have the gas shutoff, and you have the flue. Both of these are just examples of the systems that will utilize what we're pertaining to here. I don't want to give you guys the answer, but the two systems that we have here, these two systems are relatable to what the question is. And I'm going to go into this here. Question number 1, can you have an HSI boiler? Number 2 is how many ignitions are there? I'm going to get into the second question first, because before you can answer the first question, which is can you have a hot surface ignition boiler, you need to understand what the ignitions are before you can understand the distinguishing characteristics and also what you can, get away with as far as with, modifications. Now, ignitions can vary. I'm just picking this up here. These two are gas valves here. Now, what you see here, gas valve is just what sends gas to your furnace or your boiler on the call for heat. This component that I got on my hand is very important. Without a gas valve, you're probably going to be at a very dangerous situation. If, a furnace or a boiler ignites, this gas valve is the only component that will stop natural gas or propane from turning off in your furnace in the event that you don't need any more heat. Because, guys, keep in mind, this component is what starts, the process. Well, this component is what helps starts the process for, combustion. You have an ignition, which is what we're going to get into in a second. But these ignitions doesn't really mean anything unless you have gas. I'll repeat. These ignitions, whether it's standard pilot, hot surface ignition, or spark, without gas, you don't have anything. So make sure you guys are up to par with your controls here. But when I say that, guys, like I said, with gas valves, you really have the gas valves can vary based on the ignition. So, I'm going to go into the distinguishing characteristics of the ignitions. Starting first with standard pilot. I got one of these in the truck. I ain't about to go out there right now to get it. It's already, what time is it? It's 12:20 in the morning on the East Coast. I ain't about to go out there and get a gas valve, a standard pilot gas valve to show y'all. A standard pilot is the oldest of the big three. Standard pilot is what you have. This, once again, is just the characteristics of the three ignitions. Standard pilot is what you had back in the day. As far as what you'll see now, the newer boilers and the newer furnaces are either going to be spark ignition or hot surface ignition. Standard pilot is what you'll typically see. I'm not even going to say no. Actually, the newer ones, the newer water heaters are spark. So I'm not even going to say, guys. I'm going to write this down here because I want to make sure I self-correct myself. These are older. Hold on, guys. Hold on. These are older. I mean, that's the only characteristic I want to say. Like with the standard pilot, guys. Hold on. Let me throw away the mill here. But with the standard pilot ignitions, these are like, this is what you'll see on older heating systems. Like when I say older, I'm talking like probably fucking like 20 years old. Like, I mean, maybe earlier than that. I want to say like probably 15 years old. Like you might see a standard pilot. I'm talking like, for you guys that don't know, standard pilot is like with the thermocouple, and the pilot too. You may see this on like 15 plus year old water heaters and like 15 plus year old boilers or furnaces. I mean, it's definitely out there, but however, you're not going to see these on newer equipment, whether it be newer water heaters, newer furnaces, or newer boilers. But guys, we're going to get into HSI. HSI, which stands for hot surface ignition, is the glowing ignition. I'll try to make this. I think it's a little bit more feasible for y'all here. So number 2 is HSI, which stands for hot surface ignition. This HSI ignition is very distinguishable because it has a glowing ignition. Glowing ignition. I don't have one of these in here, so you guys got to work with me here. I can try my best to explain this. The HSI, what makes a hot surface ignition different from standard pilot or spark, is the hot surface ignition is the only ignition that glows. It has an igniter, which is like 115, 120 volts. This igniter glows, and what it does is, like I said, this is what helps sparks the gas. Remember, I was telling y'all, regardless of what the igniter is, you need one of these, which is a gas valve, which is what I got in my hand. If you don't have an ignition and you have gas, this gas valve doesn't know if you have ignition inside your heater. This gas valve is going to say, wait a minute, I got 24 volts. Let me open up. And like I said, this is my incoming side, meaning this is like 100% gas. If I got 24 volts, I'm going to let gas into my burners. Meaning, look, this, see that GV? That is what this is. If this gas valve gets 24 volts, this gas valve is going to say, wait a minute, I got incoming gas. If I'm natural gas, so I got 3.5 inches of water column already at the inlet point of me. Only thing I need is 24 volts. I'm going to get that 24 volts from my circuit board. But if I got 24 volts, I'm going to say, you know what? If I get 24 volts, I'm going to open up. But guys, what makes the gas valve, very, very limited is like this gas valve doesn't know if you have ignition. I repeat, a gas valve does not know if you have ignition. And that is the point of other components inside your furnace, aka your circuit board. Your ignition, your igniter only ignites. And I want you guys to think about it like this. Most of your components are self-explanatory. The gas valve is, of course, relative to the gas. Your igniter is relative to the ignition, but all of your other components, everything is almost self-explanatory. Like if you guys look into like components and controls, you'll realize like most of your controls, I'm talking like from a safety standpoint, whether it be the flame sensor, control board controls everything inside your furnace. The control board, which is similar to a control board inside a computer, a CPU. A control board tells the fan when and how to turn on. The control board tells the gas valve when to receive 24 volts. A control board tells your igniter when to turn on. And guys, the reason why I'm telling you all this is what I like to call the SOO. Now, let me see here, guys. I'm trying to put a thing on in the chat here. I can't even see the chat, guys. Maybe it's something going on with my Wi-Fi. But regardless, the COO, for you guys that don't know, everything I'm explaining to you, that circuit board controls the COO. If you don't know what the COO is, then like I said, guys, I mean, this is basic controls and operations. This is like what they teach you within the first couple months of trade school. COO, I was going to put this in the chat to see what y'all understand. I mean, I'm going to tell y'all anyway, because like I said, I like y'all. We all cool here. I'm going to tell y'all right now. You know what COO stand for? Boom, boom, boom. COO stands for sequence of operations. Now, I don't have, like, guys, I'll tell y'all right now, look, I'm going to tell y'all mofos right now. Every single thing I explained, I feel like I got the exact part in another truck that I don't feel like going back to. I ain't got this fucking circuit board. I got a thermostat. The circuit board I got in the truck. Hold on, guys. What's this? A defrost board? Hold on, guys. Hold up. Guys, hold on one second. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. I think I got, hold on, guys. I'm still here. I think this is a warranty. This is a warranty board I had from last year, guys. I mean, I'm not going to encourage you guys to be hoarders, but it is important to hold on to certain parts because you never know when you have to explain something to a customer or explain something to one of your technicians. If you guys are business owners, you never know when you have to explain something that you actually need physical guys, I'm sorry, this this alcohol talking. You never know when you have to explain something that you need physical representation to help you better understand what you need to go over. Now, guys, real quick, everything I just explained, I didn't know I even had a circuit board in here, but I'm going to show y'all real quick here. Guys, this is the part that I've been trying to explain, but I did not freaking know that I had inside a box here. Check it out. This is the Brainiac, and like I said, I can touch this board. This is just a warranty part. This is a board that we replaced last year, and I kept this board just for illustration purposes. But this board is what you'll typically see inside most modern gas furnaces. Not necessarily as many gas boilers, unless you're talking about a higher efficiency. But most gas furnaces will have a control board. Control board and circuit board is the same thing. But guys, understand the reason why I'm telling y'all this: a control board controls the SOO. And once again, if you guys don't know what the SOO means the sequence of operations. that all gets managed and handled inside the control board. The control board has resistors and all that good stuff, and it tells exactly what part. It tells that part what to do, when, and how it needs that part to do it. You understand what I'm saying? So guys, this control board is what sends 24 volts to your gas valve, and this control board is what sends 115 volts to your igniter, depending on what type of ignition that you guys have. Now, like I said, guys, if you have an older heating system, you could have a standard pilot system, but if you have a newer system, you could have an HSI. And HSI, once again, guys, if you don't know, and if you guys follow my page, I think it's going to be impossible. Like I said, unless you guys are on some other shit, it's impossible for you to follow this page and not know anything. If you don't want to know anything, I don't know why you're watching this page to begin with. But guys, this is all about education. I got my own way of explaining things, and I got my own way of, like I said, breaking shit down. But if you break down everything in black and white, all the information is all relative. So the purpose of this page is to educate guys, guys and women in the HVAC industry. If you want to know how things work, this is where you come to, like I said, get the breakdown. Depending on what I run across, whether it's heat or AC, you're going to get the understanding of what I seen, what was going on, what I did, and all that good stuff, guys. But once again, guys, HSI, the ignition, you only have three. You have standard pilot, which is what you see on older systems. You have hot service ignition, which is, once again, the distinguishing feature from a hot service ignition, means glowing ignition, but you will only see this on newer ignition furnaces. To answer the second question, which I kind of didn't want to do, but I have to do anyway, just to get the second question done because it pertains to hot service ignition. Hot service ignition, you can retrofit this on a boiler. Hey guys, what I mean by that, let me get this card here. Let me break this down here. You see this? You see what the first question is? Can you have a hot surface ignition boiler? That answer is yes. Yes, you can have a hot surface. You can have a hot surface ignition boiler, but they come most of the time. Most of the time, boilers come either standard pilot if you're dealing with like a 15 plus year old boiler. Most boilers are going to come standard pilot, or they're going to come. The newer ones are going to come equipped with spark ignition. That's what I want to get into in a second. But hot service ignition boilers, unfortunately, you have to modify the gas valve, you have to modify the controls, and you have to modify the board to work with hot service ignition. But guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to get a spark ignition board, and I'm going to explain what I'm talking about here, because the only thing I don't have is I don't have whatchamacallit. I don't have a hot igniter, but what I do have is I've got a spark ignition board. Guys, I got a bunch of shit here from like training that I'm glad that it's all coming around full circle. But what is this, an old limit switch? All right, guys, check it out. Here's what we got. Check it out. This is my circuit board. This old doohickey, for you guys that know, this is what I'm going to get into with number 3. I'm not going to talk about this one yet. This is my little buddy here. We got to wait to talk about that one. And this is the box that it came in. Actually, this is the old one. I think I replaced this a while back, but I kept this one for training. And this is a Duquesne limit switch. I remember this job. I bought a spare one, but I kept this one for resistance training. I believe this one was burned up. All right, guys, let's get into the nitty gritty, shall we? Let's see here. Now, to get into the question here is, can you have a hot surface ignition boiler? The answer is yes, you can have a hot surface ignition boiler, but most newer, keyword, most newer boilers, I'm talking as of 2026, they come equipped with spark ignition. And guys, like, I was going to go more into hot surface ignition, but I can't answer the first question unless I explain spark ignition boilers, because thinking about it, like, you got to know all three to answer that first question. So, like, I would feel some type of way if I didn't go over all three, and I'm trying to explain to you why newer boilers are spark ignition without y'all knowing what the fuck a spark ignition boiler is. So, like, with that being said, with all things accounted for, let's talk about spark ignition. Spark ignition is, of course, spark ignition, and that's going to be on newer ignition, commercial gas packs. All right, guys, let's get down to the nitty gritty, shall we? All right. So we got our big three. Our big three, the three different type of ignitions are standard pilot, hot surface ignition, and spark. Standard pilot is what you'll see. And I mean, I can put this on here. I didn't think I kind of had to, but I think I have to here. Thermocouples. Pilot tubes. All right. I want to make all three of these ignitions as distinguishable as I possibly can, guys. Like, this is what's going to help us out to, like, figure out what makes all three of these different. Because if I try to explain all three of these similar, it's going to confuse the hell out of a bunch of you guys here. So here's what I got. The three different type of ignitions. One is standard pilot, which is what you'll see on older heating systems, which has thermocouples and pilot tubes. Two is hot surface ignition, keyword HSI, hot surface, not hot service. This is one thing I thought about in school. I thought it was hot service ignition, but like hot surface, like the surface of a board, surface of a whatever you're talking about, hot surface ignition, HSI, is what you'll see on newer ignition furnaces, meaning, like I said, from like 10 years prior or even, like I said, recent. But what makes hot surface ignition furnaces different from 1 or 3 is hot surface ignition furnaces have the glowing igniter. That is what makes HSI different. What makes standard pilot igniters different from 2 or 3 is that standard pilot igniters have thermocouples and pilot tubes. Thermocouple, I don't have one of these in here, but the thermocouple is the thing that you manually light. I don't smoke, so I don't have a lighter, but you'll have to manually light the igniter, and this is the only way you can get the igniter. This is the only way you can get the standard pilot to light. Now, let's get to the third thing here. The third thing is the spark ignition. The spark ignition is what I'm going to get into here. And guys, I got so many stickers here. what are these 1/2 inch clamps? Guys, like I cleaned out my truck the other day, and like I got so many fucking clamps. And what are these BX? No, these aren't. This BX or Romex. These are the Romex. Oh no, this is the no, this is the BS connectors. The Romex is the smaller ones, or vice versa, guys. Like once again, it's either one or the other. Like I said, guys, the only thing I know is like I got a bunch of connectors, BX and Romexes, but like I know where to find them in the event that, like I said, I have to, I got to get another one or whatever the case is. But with that being said, we got to get into spark ignition, guys. And I went into this this had to have been a couple months ago. I know I went into spark ignition, but guys, I'm not going to get into spark ignition boards. I'd rather wait until like the next time I'm in that scenario. I'm pretty sure I went over how to diagnose spark ignition boards, but this relates to the big three. Spark ignition is the only ignition that utilizes a spark wire, and it uses, like I said, electricity to create a spark that ignites the gas. 2, which is hot surface ignition, which is what I went over earlier. This glows. Standard pilot is the only pilot that stays on constantly. Not the ignition, but the pilot. There's a small pilot light that stays on. And once again, if that pilot light goes out, you have to manually light it. But that is what makes that standard pilot a very distinguishing part. You know, that's what makes that different from 2 or 3. Is that standard pilot, you have to manually light it, but the pilot light stays on. This is very inefficient, and this is what made the manufacturers come up with, like I said, you know, up and coming features, whether it be the hot surface ignition or the spark. So like standard pilot worked for like the, you know, 50s, 60s, and 70s. But like I said, once, you know, the new era came around, customers got sick of windy days, you know, whenever, and I'm talking in the summertime, whenever the wind blows out. Now they don't have hot water. Now they don't have heat because of, like I said, the standard pilot. Now I am going to go over what makes these two better. And guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this here because I got to add more literature onto the board here. All right, what color? I can use brown. Fuck, it don't matter. These two are called intermittent ignition. All right, guys, check this out here. You want to know what makes the HSI and the spark ignition similar? HSI, which is hot surface ignition, and spark ignition are both intermittent ignition. Intermittent ignition, you guys want to know what, and like, I don't know, I think maybe, guys, I turned on a function accidentally that made, because I can't see the chat right now. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't want to accidentally like mess up the video because I've already been on now for an hour and 19 minutes. But intermittent ignition means there's only, hold on. I tried to spell only with an A, guys. Forgive me. Well, there's only an ignition guys, this take me back to my trade school days, man. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, the shit I'm writing down on the board, I would have, like I said, 30 to 20 students or 20 to 30 students writing this shit down, man. This brings back some nostalgia memories, man. There's only an ignition on a call for heat, not before. All right, I need my red marker because I got. All right. Now, all right, you guys want to know what makes HSI, which is hot surface ignition, and spark ignition? You guys want to know what makes HSI and spark different from standard pilot? I can explain this. Hot surface ignition and spark ignition are both considered intermittent ignition. Intermittent ignition, keyword intermittent. You guys already know. I mentioned this before. The two hardest things to diagnose are intermittent problems and compound problems. I'm not here to discuss that, but you heard this word before. Intermittent means that it's not always constant. If it's not always constant, that means that it's start, stop, start, stop. That's the meaning of intermittent. Intermittent ignition, let's go down here. Intermittent ignition means that there's only an ignition on a call for heat, not before. This is what makes these two things very efficient. This is what saves the customer a lot of money. You understand what I'm saying? Because remember, standing pilot means you will always have a pilot light lit, and you will always have a gas valve sending gas to a standing pilot, even if the ignition is not on. That's not the case with intermittent ignition. Intermittent ignition is only going to send gas through the gas valve if there's a call for heat. That is what makes intermittent ignition before the future, and now this is like how it's going to be. There is no furnace, no boiler. I'm talking like a gas heating system. There's no furnace or boiler that you're going to see that will not be intermittent ignition. Now, standard pilot, for what it was, this was an upgrade from like what the fuck it was before, but standard pilot, like I said, they did its job. I mean, hats off, salute to, the units that did work 80 and 90 years, but the future, which is what we're living in now, is hot surface ignition and spark ignition, which are both considered intermittent ignition. They do not keep the pilot on. There's no continued flow of gas through the gas valve if there's no call for heat. I repeat, intermittent ignition means there's only an ignition on a call for heat, not before. So with that being said, guys, like I said, spark ignition is what you'll typically see. It's very distinguishable because spark ignition, I could have wrote this on a board, but once again, I'm already a little bit drunk. So like I said, guys, but I'm very cognizant. Like I said, I already know. I may not be at 100%, but 95%, baby, you can't go wrong with that. Spark ignition is the only ignition that has the spark ignition board, which is what I have in my hand here. Gosh, like I didn't write this on a board here, but like hot surface ignition, you don't need a spark board for a hot surface ignition because it glows. And you don't need a spark ignition for a standard pilot because you have a thermocouple and a pilot tube. But spark ignition, you have a spark board, and of course, you have a plug from the board that on a call for heat is going to send that spark from the board to the igniter. And this is what is going to ignite the spark that will in turn ignite the gas. You guys understand here? And you know why earlier I told you I was going to put number 4 down. Number 4 was going to be the smart valve here. This is what I got in my hand. But like smart valves still have the hot surface igniter on here. You got the control board, but you have a smart valve. I mean, you have the hot surface igniter. So like, guys, the reason why I didn't put 4 down because 4, which would be the smart valve, it kind of ties into 2 if you look at it. So like, if another ignition has something similar to another igniter, then like I'm just going to keep the original depiction of the igniter, which is what I already had. I'm going to keep that already on the board. So like, I'm just telling you, like I said, guys, this is the big 3 as far as with igniters. I'm pretty sure I went over this before, but I'm not sure exactly which GMC talks that I went over with this. Like I said, guys, knowing what the big 3 is as far as with I'm talking like with heating ignitions, knowing what the big 3 is, and also knowing how each 3 are distinguishably different than the other 2. I mean, this is going to help you guys out. That is for sure. But I got one more to go over, guys. This is going to be a long night. I want y'all to take your time, screenshot what I got here, because like I said, guys, I don't want to wait. I don't want to erase this too long here. Make sure you guys understand the 3 ignitions, which is standard pilot, hot service ignition, spark. Understand, standard pilot is what you'll see on older boilers. Standard pilots have thermocouples and pilot tubes. Hot service ignition has the only distinguishable feature of a glowing igniter, is also what you'll see with newer igniters. And 3, spark ignition is the only ignition that you'll see with a spark ignition board. You'll see that on newer gas boilers, and you'll see this also on commercial gas pack rooftop units. This isn't something that, like I said, that is, I'm not going to, I mean, most people already know it, so you don't really have to advertise it, but like with gas pack commercial rooftop units, like for instance, like what you see here, like the commercial rooftop unit here, I'm pretty sure it's gas. We had gas in this neighborhood over in Newtown. I mean, most rooftop units you see here, it is, damn, guys, I clicked out of this accidentally, my bad. But most rooftop units that you see is going to be either hot service ignition. I mean, I haven't seen a hot service ignition rooftop unit. It's always going to be either spark. I mean, or that's it. It's always spark. But like I said, guys, it's rarely it's going to be mainly spark. That's like the distinguishing function of commercial gas pack rooftop units. Like I said, hot service ignition. I mean, you can have all 3 residential wise. You can have standard pilot, hot service ignition, and spark residential, but commercial mainly is going to be spark, because standard pilot, I'm telling y'all right now, standard pilot on a rooftop unit is going to be a disaster because of prevailing winds. I read this online a while ago. Hot service ignition, long term, is a lot more fragile versus spark. I think that's why they put spark ignitions on rooftop units, because it's a lot more durable. I don't know any other, benefit and feature with spark ignition over the other 2 were commercial units besides the longevity. But that's something that, like I said, that's what I read online a long time ago, because I'm thinking like, like if they put hot service ignitions on residential gas furnaces, shouldn't they put hot service igniters inside of rooftop units? Not necessarily. It could be a little bit different. But guys, I got to use the bathroom. Just hang 10 for a little bit. I'm going to use the can, and I'm going to go over, and I got to get another tissue here. I got to erase the board here. But guys, real quick, hold on. Before I erase the board, make sure you guys have the screen shared or screenshot it. Make sure y'all have this already on here. The three ignitions. and what makes 2 and 3 different from number 1. Intermittent ignition. This is what makes everything different. But guys, we're going to take a commercial break. Give me a second. I am going to use the can. I'll be right back. Work hard, play hard, and I say it's okay. Play hard. Ain't worry about it. Everybody say it's okay. Guys, you know a song that's been stuck in my head, or a beat that's been stuck in my head. I want y'all to Google or look this up on YouTube. Work hard, play hard by Stir and D Smoke. Like I said, that hook has been stuck in my head for like the past 2 weeks. Work hard, play hard, and where anybody say it's okay. Guys, look, man, that's another look. Guys, like I said, once I have my vacation time, y'all gonna know what type of time we on, man. But until then, we gotta get back to business. We have to get back to the business, guys. Business always gets handled first. First and foremost. We got to get back to the business, All right, we're done with the flashcards. Also, I want y'all to, once again, make sure you got the joints memorized on the board, and we got to move along, guys. We got new ventures. We got new accesses to get to here, man. We gotta keep it moving here. We gotta keep it moving, guys. We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it moving. Work hard, play hard. Take time to take layers. Circle back around for the players. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Last but not least, guys. Last but not least, we have our illustrious fan center. And if you don't know what the fan center is, a fan center is nothing more than just a transformer and a fan relay all built into one control. Guys, look, I'm telling you right now, I already got that song built into my head. So if I start singing the hook, you already know where I'm coming from with this, man. Work hard, play hard, make time to lay up. Ain't worry about anybody say it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Work hard, play hard. Ain't worry about anybody say. Make time to lay up. Ain't worry about anybody say. Shit, YC. I think it's G. It's okay. It's okay. See here. Which, if you guys that don't know, I'm just putting the fan center. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'll make sure I don't lose this cap because I ain't trying to dry up any of these fucking markers. It's okay. How I want to draw this. All right, guys, like real quick. This is a double pull, double throw. I want to do a single pull, single throw because like I'm not trying to show, like, I ain't got the time tonight to hook all this shit up as far as like double pull, double throw. But what I want to do is I want to do a single pull, single throw. Or do I want to do a double? Guys, I'm looking at the diagram here. I already got my transformer hooked up. I want to do a double pull, double throw. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let's see. Work hard, play hard. Ain't worry about anybody say it's okay. It's okay. Let's see here. I can put another set beneath it. If I put another set beneath here, that's going to be here. These are my normally closed, blase, bada bing, bada boo. Guys, once you get to a certain level of experience, you can start talking your bullshit. Not a lot of people want to understand you, but when you start talking about bada bing, bada boo, that is what makes everything connects, my boy. Let me see here. Double pull, double throw. I'm going to use different colors here because it's going to get kind of confusing if I do this all in the same color. It's okay. Guys, hold on. I'm trying to put everything else up. Bear with me for a second, guys. Like I said, I'm just out here trying to get situated. Give me a minute. I'm gonna put this control board up. I'm gonna get the gas valves out of my way and the limit switches put up. I thought I'd need to explain the limit switches, but I didn't need to explain the limit switches. But guys, what I'm gonna do, let me put everything up and I am going to explain how fan relay control works. Give me 1 second. It's okay. Work hard, play hard. And worry about anybody say it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Work hard, play hard. Ain't worry about anybody say it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Work hard, play hard. Make time to lay up. Then shake her back around for the player. It's It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Second home, while I'm listening in honest. Give me some gas. Let me got that pass. Work hard, play hard. Work hard, play hard. Ain't everybody around for the pay. It's okay. Work hard, play hard. All right, guys. It is time for story time. I want y'all to remember this. This is a little souvenir that I picked up from New York City. This, my friends, is the Empire State Building. I'm going to get into the fan center in a second, but guys, fuck all that. I got to tell y'all what's on my mind here. I remember with the Empire State Building, I've been out there probably 2 years ago. There's two different. I'm talking visiting, guys. Like I don't know if they changed this, but like there's an 82nd, there's 80 something, and there's 100 floor. I think the 100 floor is higher up, but the 82nd or the 80 something is a little bit lower. But guys, I remember I had this date night from a couple years back, and guys, the fucking wind level that was on that 82nd floor of the Empire State Building, this shit was like, I mean, it was kind of scary. Like I never been that high before, but like they had a whole cage around the Empire State Building, but like the hundreds, guys, I think, was this the World Trade Center or the Empire? I think it was Empire, but the Empire State Building, the 102nd or whatever, it was 100 plus, but the 100 plus floor, it was inside, so you didn't have to worry about the wind. But guys, that 82nd floor, I took Shorty out there, and like I said, guys, like they had cages, so like, I mean, I think, guys, this is some next level shit. It's fucked up. A bunch of people, they tried to commit suicide from jumping out the Empire State Building. So like, what they tried to do, well, what they did was they jumped, and like eventually, the people from the Empire State Building, they put cages around the 82nd or the 80 whatever floor. I'm gonna call this the 80th and 100th floor, guys. So I don't know the fucking numbers. I'm already drunk. But like, what they did was like, we went out there, and this was nighttime, summer night, and like it was windy as hell. Like you got to keep in mind, this isn't ground level. This is like the 80th floor, and like the 80th floor, like you gotta understand, like the wind. Like I don't think you guys can like ascertain, the wind levels that's up there. And like, look, I'm telling y'all this shit right now. Look, I forgot I had this fucking picture up here, guys. Look, where I was, I'm telling y'all motherfuckers right now. Where I was like probably like right here. This picture I'm showing, look, this little statue I'm showing you, I'm like right here. I'm like right in the bezel of the state building. But like before, like I said, it was how it looks now. But now they got like cages. If you go up here, like you can't get too close to the edge. They got cages, but like it was so windy that like if you try to take a video from like this area, you can't even, like if you take a video, you can record, but you can't even hear yourself talk on the video. That's just how windy, like the turbulence, how things work. And like if you keep going up, that will be inside. So like, guys, like I said, New York is like dope, but like I think you need to like understand the territory, and you need to like learn from people's experiences, because it can get kind of crazy, depending on what you want to get into. But guys, like I said, with that being said, I'm going to get into my last segment of tonight. I'm going to get into the fan center house. Like, I just gave y'all at least $500,000 worth of game tonight, guys. If you stayed with me for the duration of tonight or not, it don't really matter. The point is, the knowledge is always going to be here, guys. And that's what this channel is about. The channel is about giving valuable HVAC information and knowledge to those that are in the HVAC industry. And like I said, guys, we're all about learning more and, like I said, teaching different perspectives, but we're all about evolution, guys. I'm just trying to play my part in helping guys, like I said, evolve, or girls involved. Like I said, for you, I mean, it's not too many, but for the women, that I seen one chick that was on Instagram. She did HVAC. It's not a bunch of them, but like I said, I always say men and women. I mean, regardless of your gender, your race, if you want to learn this trade, there's definitely opportunities out here. You know, don't let people deter you from, like I said, what you want to do. It's opportunities out here, but you have to put the groundwork in. You have to be on that level of, like I said, getting to that, putting the preparation in. And like I said, guys, like it's not really, once you get past that level of, like I said, knowing what you have to do, most of like your goals will become who you are. So it's like, it's not really, you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to prepare. Like I think the old saying goes, like, what the fuck is, guys, hold on, give me a second. I forgot how the old saying, I was thinking about this the other day. What the fuck is it called? I think it's called, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. If you already are who you need to be, then like you don't have to really prepare as much as you thought that you had to prepare for. So it's like, if I don't have to prepare because I already am who the fuck I need to be, then like, I mean, you get what I'm saying, guys? Like, this is like some next level Jedi shit. So it's like, if you stay ready, then why the fuck you got to get ready? Because you're already staying ready. That action, like that, what you have to do to stay ready is going to triumph what you have to do to like get ready. So it's like, you get what I'm saying, guys? But with that being said, guys, we got to get this party on the road here. So with that being said, the fan center, my friends, let's get into this here. This is a DT relay, and this is a transformer. What makes, and I thought I had one of these motherfuckers in here. I got a breaker. No, I don't have one in here. All right, guys. What makes a DT relay, which is a peanut relay, what makes a relay and a transformer work together is called a fan center. Okay? All right. So I'm going to draw a boiler. I'm going to do this in black. And once again, guys, this is the last illustration of tonight. So I want you guys to take inventory on what's going on here. Flu. Work hard, play hard, ain't worry about everybody say it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And worry about anybody say it's okay. It's okay. Dun, 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 dun. Ain't worry about anybody say it's okay. It's okay. Let's see here. Try to use black. I don't think it matters. I can use black here. Circulator pump. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right, guys. Let's get down to the bottom of things. All right, so what we have here is a gas boiler. We got our burners. I don't really care about the meats and the guts of the boiler. We got our flue pipe. We have our supply pipe. which is sending hot water from the boiler out and up into the radiators. And from the house coming back from the home to the boiler is the return. I should have put this on the board. Return. All right, so here's what we got. So coming from the boiler, hot water, which is called the supply, coming through the supply pipe, going through the radiators to the house. House heats up, coming back from the house, which is called the return pipe. Coming from the house back to the boiler is the return, and the cycle repeats itself. But one thing you guys need to understand is what controls allows the boiler to do what it needs to do. One thing I'll say right now, the fan center does two things. And like I'm trying to, guys, like while I'm thinking about this, I'm trying to sum this up in the most simple way that I can like break this down. With the fan center, it does two things, guys. Like, and I'm pretty sure this is going to turn into a two-part video here. But I'm going to try to break this down here. I want y'all to look at this here. It's okay. Work hard, play hard. All right, so guys, look. Check it out. Hold on. It's okay. It's okay. All right, so guys, check it out here. So I broke this fan center into two different halves, even though this is all one controller. I should have kept. I replaced one of these like a month or two ago. You guys should have seen this on one of my no heat calls, but I forgot to keep it. I threw this out. I put this in the dumpster. But you have to understand, a fan control or I call this a fan control. A fan center is integral to a residential gas boiler heating, because keep in mind, I want y'all to understand this. A fan center does two different functions. A fan center, I want y'all to stay with me here. A fan center controls the circulator pump, and it also controls the low voltage controls, which is very important to maintain function on a hot water gas heating system. Now, what I mean by that is real simple, guys. If something controlled the circulator pump, and I don't want to give you guys too many examples because like I could go off on a tangent here, but like you guys seen all my shorts. Like I said, guys, like I'm the control guy. I put like so many different controllers on shorts. I gave you guys examples of limit switches on like the inline the strap aquastats, the inline limit switches, guys. Like I said, I try to explain things in the beginner, basic level understanding. But like sometimes, guys, like I said, this shit is not really beginner understanding level. You get what I'm saying? Like sometimes you have to really like just explain things how it is. And if someone doesn't understand, then like it's really not much you can like really, you can't break it down past a basic level of understanding. So what I mean by that is, knowing that this fan center breaks down the function of the circulator pump and the low voltage controls, there's 1,000,001 ways up a mountain, guys. And I say that to say this. With the boiler, and this is a hot water gas boiler, with the hot water gas boiler, the supply pipe going up to the radiators, heating the house up. Once the house gets hot and the the surface temperature of the radiators gets colder. That colder water from the radiator or the baseboard or whatever the case is comes back from the house to the boiler. The circulator pump brings that colder water back to the boiler to get preheated, and then the cycle repeats itself. But you need to understand with the fan center, and like I'm just trying to figure out the easiest side to start with first because they're both like almost the same shit. If you guys understand circuit boards, then I want to say low voltage controls will probably be almost the same shit. Like you guys understand what the G terminal means, what the W terminal are. Like you guys should already understand that from my previous videos, but understanding low voltage controls, I say that to say this. The LV controls, if you don't have anything to control your low voltage, guess what? There's no thermostat. What I mean by that is what you don't see, which is what I did not write down. Between these two halves is a step-down transformer. A step-down transformer steps down 115 to 24 volts. 24 volts is your low voltage side, which is here. And circulator pump, which is 115, which is here. All right, I don't know how the fuck this marker keep falling on the ground. All right, guys. I may be a little drunk here, but bear with me here. Because 98%, if y'all watch this back tomorrow morning, 98% of what I'm telling you will be spot on the fucking dot. But let me get another sip here of this margarita. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on. Hold up. Work hard, play hard, and wherever anybody say, it's okay. It's okay. All right, so look. The circulator pump side is 115 volts. The low voltage side is 24 volts. What distinguishes the 115 volt side from the 24 is the transformer. But that's another video. I put that on my shorts. You guys, if you watch this channel, once again, I'm going to say that a lot. If I know it's something I already went over, you guys got to find this shit on my page. Once again, I am turning into the HVAC dictionary or the Google page of of what parts are or what the fuck. Like, gosh, this is just, like I said, I don't watch all of my content, but I'm pretty sure I know when I talked about certain parts or controls. And like I said, it's your job, you guys as my followers, if you watch my page, if you subscribers, follows, whatever the case is, if you've seen this, you should know exactly where to find it. But with that being said, 115 to 24, you should know what control makes the voltage go from one side to another. But with that being said, with this fan center, with the circulator pump, you have to understand, no internal control on the inside the boiler has enough power to control your circulator pump. That needs to come from an external source. External means something that's before your transformer. Something that's before the transformer is your fan center, which is going to be, if you have this style boiler, this style setup, it's going to be on the near the on and off switch, near the emergency switch. Now, it's either one or two ways you can have this. Either you're going to have a fan center or you're going to have an aquostat. An aquostat is almost like a built-in circuit board, which is going to have, like, say, your limit switch, your circulator pump, blase, blase, blase. It's going to have all this built in. But keep in mind, guys, like, aquostats are great, but aquostats weren't the only option at certain points in times. So certain points in time before the aquostat, you only had the fan center. If the fan center before the aquostat, if you didn't have a way to screw out the aquostat and take out the wires and put in a new aquostat, if you got to use a fan center now, guess what? You got to test power from R to C. If that transformer is bad, guess what you got to do? You got to replace this fan center. And that's pretty ABCs as far as with diagnosing and how to replace this. But in regards to, like I said, the function, back to what I was going over real quick, guys, with the circulator pump, it's real simple. With a call for heat. If you guys understand relays, and I'm gonna go over this very how can I put this? And I'm gonna step back here while I say this. I'm gonna go over this in a very I'm not gonna say nonchalant, but like I wanna make sure you guys understand what I'm saying, because like I try my best to like dumb shit down. So like, you guys like understand what I'm saying. But if you do, if you're still like say unsure of how fan centers work, I'll probably make another video at some point in the near future. Maybe I'll add this into a part 4 of the $680,000 worth of notes. But with that being said, guys, like how fan centers work is two sides. The circulator pump side, it works off a double pole, double throw relay. Remember, guys, a relay works off 24 volts. If there's a call for heating, meaning there's a call for the boiler to turn on and heat the house up, there's a set of contacts that close. And once that set of contacts close, 24 volts. And like I said, guys, I'm smacking this fucking board because I already paid money for it. It is what the fuck it is. I don't care what drops on the ground. But if there's a call for heat and 24 volts gets energized to the coil of this fan center, now guess what, guys? If 24 volts gets sent to the coil, now it's going to send, and I hate to fucking over explain this, but like it's going to send constant power to the load. And like, if you guys don't know how relays work, I recommend you either taking a controls class or, like I said, I'm pretty sure most of you guys went to trade school for HVAC, so this should be not a foreign concept to you. But a relay works off of constant power, a load, and 24 volts. Once 24 volts gets applied to that said relay, it's going to send power from one side of the relay to another. And guys, like I said, depending on what the load is, and the load is a circulator pump, it's going to send constant power from one side to another. A double pole, double throw means you have one set of contacts that is constantly closed that opens up on the rising 24. That opens up on the applied call for 24 volts, and you have a side that is normally open that closes on applied 24 volts. So guys, what that means is that normally closed turns into normally open, or normally open turns into normally closed. What I mean by that, guys, is once this happens, now you're going to have power to the circulator pump, and now the circulator pump is going to run only when there's 24 volts to the fan center. Now, let me just get my shit here. All right, I gotta stop. I got clanking on this board, guys, because like all these fucking markers are starting to fall off. Hold on, guys. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. All right. So I've explained to y'all just now what the relay side of a fan center, how it works. And like I said, guys, this is at least $500,000, if not $600,000 worth of notes. And I'm giving y'all this off the whim. Now I'm going to give y'all the low voltage control side of how the fan center works. Now, the low voltage control side, I'm going to give y'all a hint. The low voltage control side works the same way as a circuit board works. Now, I put my circuit board up. I don't have anything that's still here, but a low voltage control or control board works, like I said, the same way. It operates off 24 volts, meaning if you had a step-down transformer that's going to step down 115 to 24, you're going to have 24 between R and C, and from R to C, assuming that everything's hooked up right, Now on the call for heat, once the heating contacts close, that is when, like I said, the low voltage control side of the fan center is going to send power to your circulator pump side, and it's going to close, or it's going to send 24 volts to the coil of the fan center, which is in turn going to close your normally open set of contacts. And then after that, it's going to send 115, which is constant power, to the line side. It's going to send that 115 to the low side of the circulator pump, and that is how your circulator pump turns on. So I say that to say this, guys. Like I said, it's not really much to it as far as with fan centers. Everything starts first with a basic understanding of controls, where the RWCG, where wires go to. I don't really think it really matters that much, but it's all the same shit, guys. Like, it's not really that much, but yeah, guys, like I said, I'm just shooting the shit with y'all. Like I said, it's not really much to it. But guys, I wanna keep it 100 with y'all. I can do this every week if I have time. But like I said, guys, if I ain't got time, if I'm working, you already know how the grind is. If I'm working, then it is what it is. But like I said, guys, if I got time, I don't know how often I can do this, but like I said, I'm gonna make a part 4 of this because like I only brought 2 cards and I brought a fucking schematic with me tonight. But like I said, guys, I can make plenty more. $680,000 worth of notes. I just gotta find it. If I find the notes, and most importantly, if I like I said, if I have the time to do it, like I said, if it's not on a Friday, I can definitely do it like on Saturdays. With that being said, but like I said, guys, with that being said, here it's just it's all relative. Like I said, this HVAC shit, the shit I'm telling y'all about. I'm gonna show y'all something here. The shit I'm telling y'all about, man, it's just like this shit comes out of a love for learning about shit. Like you can't. The shit I'm telling you, the things I just went over tonight. If you put a gun to someone's head and try to force them to learn this, I don't think it's going to be the same result. You get what I'm saying? Like, this has to be an innate feeling for like wanting to learn about this shit. Like, and I like that. Like I said, guys, I'm not a sane person. I'm a fucking maniac. But like, with that being said, out of a said love for a profession, you're going to learn. You're going to have an innate ability to exalt past a certain point. So it's like, there's going to be some things that, like I said, you can't explain, but something you just know how to do. And like, that's not something that you can probably teach it, but it's just like, it's either someone has that ability or they don't. You get what I'm saying? So, guys, like I said, with that being said, I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. Like I said, guys, like I said, I spent 2 hours in this motherfucker. I can spend at least another 88 hours in this motherfucker. But guys, look, real quick. I left this out, guys. Like, look, in my GMC talks, remember, with my GMC talks, I put down bullet points, but like I said, guys, I put down bullet points for like how I choose to explain things, and where things lead off. It's always going to be, like it is, like I said, it can take 30 minutes or it can take 2 hours. But I remember this call, that $40,000 job, guys. Like, the guys that was on that job, they can attest to this. But like, guys, this call, that job that I did, I explained this in the GMC talks. This customer, he had the gas boiler, and he had a steam boiler and 2 straight AC air handlers. And what he wanted to do was he wanted to replace. He wanted to rip out the radiators and in the piping and all that other shit. He wanted to replace the air handlers. He wanted to put in two gas furnaces, one in the basement that did the first floor. He wanted to do a, a furnace on the third floor that did the second and the third, but he wanted to zone off the second and the third floor. Guys, I like regardless of the work, like guys, I never mentioned this on camera, but like this fucking guys, listen to this. I remember this shit like it was yesterday. We was out there, like I said, we was there for a couple months, and like we had other customers to get to. So like, I mean, we like I said, we stayed on this job site for like probably what 4 months, if not less. Like guys, that this was a very time consuming job, but like, I remember this like it was yesterday, guys. And shout out to these motherfuckers. They like guys, these people didn't even speak English, but like, the GC that this customer hired. It was like I said, we was just the HVAC people that he hired independently, but like he hired some GC people that did the carpentry work and all the other shit. Guys, this had something to do with the GC, but like I remember this one day, I get outside and like I get out like I said, guys, I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but I get outside and this customer, boy, this lady, I know she was working with them. But she got outside. I think they was doing the roofing, as a matter of fact. They was doing the roofing. They get outside, and I mean, she get outside, they do the roofing. I think I had to go to the truck to get some type of part. And she was already out there. I think she was about to, I thought initially she was about to get some type of roofing, like some type of shit out of the truck. And like, as soon as I get out the truck, I mean, as soon as I get what I need out the truck, I hear something sizzling. I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck? Is something getting ready to blow up? And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm like, what the fuck? And God's like, as, as soon as guys, no bullshit. Everything was all right. As soon as I get to the truck, get what I need, I get out the truck. I hear something sizzling. That shit sound like bacon sizzling on the grill. As soon as I get outside, I don't know how the fuck she did this, guys, but she had a outdoor stove. This shit looks almost like a how can I explain this? Like this shit looks almost like an outdoor fire pit. I don't know how she assembled this or how she got it lit, but it was like an outdoor fire pit. Like within like 10 seconds, she had guys within 10 seconds she had yellow rice cooking on the stove top, and I'm like, yo, like, I mean, she didn't understand English, so like, and at that time I didn't understand Spanish, so like, cause at that time I was just like, yo, I respect the finesse, like, how the fuck within 10 to 15, like within a minute, how the fuck do you assemble, an outdoor grill that you can make rice and like, I just hear the shit, I hear everything sizzling, so I'm like, what the fuck? And like I said, guys, like she had chicken and rice, literally, like I said, sizzling, and I'm like, yo, like, I respect the finesse, guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, like I said, ingenuity is just like it's not always something that you're gonna understand. But like I said, guys, you just gotta respect it. You gotta respect what you see, man, and learn from it. And like I said, hopefully, you can incorporate it into your own personal life, man. But like, shit, man, like I guess I never seen someone like I said, put together an assembly or cook something that quick. And I'm like, what the fuck? How the hell she cook chicken and rice within 60 seconds? I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck? Me not hearing nothing to like 30 seconds of me of me hearing, like I said, just sizzling. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm thinking something ready to blow the fuck up, guys. Like, yeah, man. But guys, like I said, with that being said, man, I'm just chilling. I'm about to what I gotta do, Monday. I gotta put together this estimate, guys. I think this customer wanted a mini split ductless unit. I gotta do this on I gotta call the suppliers Monday. Yeah, guys, I gotta do. It's a bunch of. I mean, it's a few estimates I gotta put together. But guys, like one thing we gotta do is we're gonna start to do AC maintenance. It's probably within the next. Oh, we're gonna start calling customers within the next week or two. But we're probably gonna do AC maintenance. It's probably before the end of this month. So like this week is the first week of this month. So like probably within 3 weeks, if not less, we're gonna start calling customers just to put them on the schedule. And I mean, yeah, like that's gonna be the start of summer 2026. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, like I said, it's this shit is like it is what it is, guys. Like I said, I can spend fucking 88 hours straight, like I said, talking about this shit because, like I said, guys, this is how I was raised. This is just, I'm an HVAC junkie, guys. But like I said, this shit I'm telling y'all, unless you've been around it, you're not gonna like really understand it. So like, I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really pressed to like try to overly explain this shit because, like I said, unless you understand it, you're not really gonna get it. So like, I try to reserve some space for, like I said, people that that can, I try to give you some time to, like I said, to, grasp a concept or whatever. But, guys, with that being said, I got to get everything I need out here. What time is it? Damn, it's 1:42 in the morning, guys. I'm not. It is 1:42 in the morning. I'm out this motherfucker talking about HVAC, guys. That's how you know I'm the one, man. Who the fuck that's been on live for 2 hours talking about HVAC, guys? Like, this is just, I ain't meant for this. I'm built for this, guys. This is just what I'm be telling you. But shit, I gotta put everything up. I ain't even put this shit in the bag, guys. Hold on, give me 1 second. Uno momento, guys. Uno momento, mi amigo. Uno momento, mi amigo. Hold on. Un segundo, mi amigo. Un segundo, mi amigo. Damn, I ain't put this in the bag. Guys, hold on. If you listen, I'm just putting some shit back in the bag. Work hard, play hard. Ain't worried about anybody saying it's so good. It's so good. Soup. Second home, Hawaiian Island. Yeah. Ain't worried about saying it's so good. Second home, Hawaiian Island. Work hard, play hard. Where anybody say it's okay. It's okay. That 2XL. That shit. Second home, Hawaiian Island. Yeah. All right, guys, real quick. Make sure y'all have everything written down. It's crazy that I can't even see the freaking chats, man. Like, that shit is crazy. I think it might be like when I hook up Wi-Fi. I think that might be the thing, guys. If I hook up Wi-Fi, I'm still getting acclimated to the live features here. But like, if I add on Wi-Fi, it takes away the comments, which is like weird. Work hard, play hard. All right. Ain't worried about anybody say it's okay. It's okay. Second home, Hawaiian Island. Uh, uh, it's okay. All right, guys. So check it out. I'm going to give y'all some insight here before spring 2026. Check it out. So this is a patch that we used for 20. Oh, let me make sure I got my right pick here. Hold on, guys. Hold up. Hold up. Second home, Hawaii Island. All right, check it out, guys. Real quick. So look, I was thinking about changing this because we use Centus for our uniforms, but like I was thinking about changing this. I mean, I like the texture with the logo here, but I'm thinking of changing this again. I got like 2 different ideas I wanted to do, but yeah, guys, I'm just trying to brainstorm some ideas. Like I said, the logo, everything will still ultimately remain the same, but like I just want to figure out, like I said, some other creative ideas in regards to what we can do here. But yeah, guys, with that being said, I'm gonna give y'all motherfuckers some inside information here. So like Monday, what's today's date? Hold on. Today is the 5th. Today is Sunday the 5th. I'm about to squat 470 on Monday night. And I'm gonna be sure to put this up, make or miss, squatting 470, which is like 30 pounds. Guys, I want to squat 500 pounds. Like, that's my goal. That is the reason why I wanted to squat in the first place, is I wanted to do 500 pounds. But like I said, guys, like everybody lift weights for like different reasons, whether you maintaining, whether you XYZ. But like I said, guys, my goal is once I get to 500 pounds, like I said, I'm gonna tamper off. But like I had that innate desire to hit 500 pounds on the squat. And like I said, I'm already at 460, which is what I did, 6 weeks ago. I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit 470. I feel good about 470 based on my current program. Like, I'm going to hit 470 on Monday. But like I said, guys, like I'm going to do what is it called? Shit. It's like when you, I'm having a brain fart right now. Guys, basically is when you like, I think so. It's called a static hold. A static hold is when you, like I said, you're not lifting or benching the actual weight, but you're just holding it on a squat. It's like a static hold. Like I'm gonna walk out with 500 on Monday. I'm talking like 500 pounds. I'm gonna walk out with that weight, and like I said, guys, I'm gonna do a static hold for like probably 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna go down to 470, and like that's gonna be my game plan. But like I said, guys, I'm feeling pretty good about 470, but like 500 is the goal. So like I want to see how 500 feels, like as far as like with me unracking and holding that weight for like 500 pounds. Like you get what I'm saying? Like I want to like. Hold on, let me make sure I got that. Like, it's just I want to like hold. Like, you get what I'm saying, guys? I want to make sure, like I said, that I like, regardless of how I feel about the weight, I actually want to feel the weight. And like I said, guys, it's going to be a very euphoric feeling, because like ever since I wanted to squat, I'm talking like from 130-pound barbell. Like I always wanted to squat 500 pounds. Like seeing five, like guys, it is what it is. But like seeing 5 pounds or seeing 5 plates each on the barbell, like I always like, it was always like some type of like feeling from seeing that. You get what I'm saying? I mean, maybe you don't understand, but like, it's just like, I'm not saying ego lifting. Like, I always do 6 week blocks. And like I said, like, and I mentioned this multiple times, like, my 3x6s and 3x5s and 3x4s are ultimately, you know, more difficult than my 3x2s or my 2x2s and 1x1s, which is my PR single. But like, guys, like I said, if I don't successfully finish my 3x6, my 3x5s, and my 3x4s, then like I said, if I fail a 3x4, I don't go to trying to 3x3 of a heavier weight. That doesn't make any sense. So like, I say that to say this, guys. Like, I mean, 6 week blocks are meant for you to test, your current progress. Like, I say that to say this, regardless of the weight you're trying, like your 3x6, your 3x5s, and your 3x4s, those 3 weeks, 3x6, 3x5, 3x4s, those 3 weeks are going to be, like I said, just the toughest weeks. And like, it builds your central nervous systems, like your CNS, your central nervous system. For you guys that are not familiar with gym terms, your central nervous system is what connects your mind to your body. So it's like, if your body isn't meant, even if you think you can like handle, 400 pounds, 405 pounds on the squat, if your body isn't like, I mean, if your mind, like, you get what I'm saying? If your mind is there, but if your body isn't acclimated to like grasping that concept, then like, ultimately you could get hurt, or like I say, you're not gonna achieve those you're not gonna achieve those lofty expectations. So like, I say that to say, like I say, you have to make sure, in addition to, like I say, your body being there, you got to make sure your mind is. We got to make sure, in addition to your mind being there, you got to make sure your body is there too. Like, you have to, put your body through the rigorous test, man. Of like, just, like I said, those 3x6s. It's not about singles, chasing singles every week. Those 3x6s, man. Like, I was telling my gym bro this shit the other week. Like, my first set of 3x6s, I'm good. My second set is like, but that third set, man, is always gonna be a pain in the ass. I'm like, I don't care about the weight you guys choose. Like I said, that third set, I don't care if it's fucking empty bar or if it's 405 pounds. Like, that, I want to say that third set, like, and I mean, my gym bro came up with the tactic of like doing a single of a heavier lift. Like, I think it's called I don't know what's called, a PRE or some shit like that. But like, I mean, like I said, guys, like that third set, man, I don't care what nobody say. That third set, it's gonna kick your ass, man. It's not really much to it in regards to like, like, it's just, you're not gonna, like I say, your strength only goes down. Your strength is not gonna increase by you doing more weight. So it's like, I mean, like, I'm just, like I said, guys, I'm just, I'm feeling good in regards to like 500 pounds, but I want to do a static hold. Like, I'm going to do that next week. And like I said, guys, we're going to see what's going on here. But like I said, with that being said, I'm going from a 2X down to a large. This is the green shirt you guys see me in a couple weeks ago. This is what that size was. So guys, with that being said, man, I'm just chilling right now, guys. But like I said, the next journey for me is just hitting this 470. I'm going to do a static hold at 500 pounds, and then I'm going to do, like I said, a PR single of 470. But yeah, guys, with that being said, like I said, I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. I'm tired as hell. Like I said, you guys spent the Saturday night with me. Like I said, I ain't got shit going on. If I had time, like I said, I ain't got nothing. Like I said, it's nothing for me to just put together a couple of hours of just, shooting shit with y'all. And like I said, guys, the point is, it's all about us getting better, us learning, growing, and like I said, guys, getting to the next level. But like I said, 2.5 hours. You know, this is not really. I can do this shit all the time. It's not really something I plan for, but like I said, guys, it is what it is. But with that being said, what time is it? Damn, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. But luckily, I ain't too far from the crib. Guys, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. Well, keep rocking and rolling, guys. Let me see here. Hold on. I'm going through, guys, look, I'm going through the whole shebang here. And shout out to Johnstone. Johnstone is where we primarily get all of our tools, everything from. Yeah, these are great. The cordless pumps, these are great. I've seen these before. I had to get my guys, the JB pumps. I mean, that's like the premier vacuum pumps, but like the JB pumps, if you guys, I mean, like I said, some of you guys are taking care of your shit. If you're not taking care of your shit, then like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, but like, if you're taking care of your pumps, they make JB in Johnstone, they do pump days or something like that, where like they do free vacuum pump maintenances. I don't know what they do. I never had to do a maintenance on my vacuum pump, but I know my older one and my newer one, we didn't have to use as often because we always rely on an older one. But with the older one, like I said, we always got the pump, the filter replaced inside of it, and never had any issues. But with the manifold, man, we had the 3-port manifold, and that was I bought 2 of these for like $500 a piece, at least 4. It was between $400 and $500. So like this, let's chalk this up: $1,000 between 2 manifold sets. One of these, I had a helper break the fucking I don't think he hooked the manifold up right, and it fell in the back of the truck, and then the screen split. That was $500 gone. I mean, of course, guys, like I said, don't get me wrong. You can whatchamacallit, you can send it back to tech support, the manufacturer. I ain't got no time for that. But one of these, the screen broke, and the second one, I think from the bottom half, I don't know what the fuck happened, gosh. Like, I think this is on the install. Tried to add refrigerant, and it started leaking out one of the handles, and I'm like, what the fuck? I tried to get my flat head or my Phillips head screwdriver to try to screw in the handle, and it still didn't work. And like, guys, like, after a while, I'm saying like, both of these incidents are at least, shit, I want to say like at least what, 9 years apart. Well, no, not 9, like at least like 7 years apart, 6 or 7 years. So like, I mean, I don't know what maintenance you're supposed to do on these digital manifolds, but like, when they fuck up, they're always going to fuck up during the point where you actually need the manifold. They're not going to mess up now during like the slower season, but like, yeah, guys, like I had both of these manifolds. I bought 2. They both messed up during the time that I actually needed them. So like, yeah, I mean, that would never happen again, because now I got the analogs, and like I said, I learned my lesson. That's all. And speaking of the analogs, look at this: $85 versus $667. I think the difference between the 85 and the 700, I mean, you probably have to experience this for yourself to go through it to understand it, but only thing you need is a clamp-on thermometer, and like I said, you can rock out. But I mean, like I said, if you need to know, the suction line and the liquid line temp, the clamp-ons, I mean, have at it, do you. But like I said, with that being said, you have to go through it and understand that during rainy days, which one of these 2 manifolds you think will crap out first? Yes, I did try to cover my manifolds during multiple times of the rain, and that still didn't work. But with these, I still have these on the truck. So with that being said, guys, like I said, I'm just talking shit with y'all. But like I said, guys, I'm just chilling with y'all. Like I said, it's not really much going on here. But guys, I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. I'm about to get up out of the shop. I got my two. What I got? I gotta make sure I got everything. Oh God, the notes. God, I think these might fit smaller, so that's why I got the 2X and the what is this? Hold on, guys. I think these fit smaller. I got two different brands. I think these might fit 2X. I thought I had an XL, but with these, the large is the XL. All right, but still, I'm about to rock out, guys. I appreciate y'all for joining in. Like I said, there'll be a lot more. Like I said, just $680,000 worth of notes. Just be on the lookout. But I gotta rock out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.